I would have. Oh. You sure? Thank goodness. You're the best, Mitchell. Good afternoon and welcome to the May 10th briefing. I'm happy to be with you this afternoon with you to discuss the impacts of COVID-19 in our community. Skagit County moved to phase 2 on June 5th, and as businesses start to reopen, people begin to return to work, please closely follow the new protocols and procedures issued by the governor. These guidelines are to assure we get back to business in a way that's safe for our employees and for our customers. And if you do start to go out, please wear your mask. Stay 6 feet apart and continue to wash your hands. We must remain cautious and vigilant as we move in this new phase 2. At the city, we strive to be the voice of unity in Anacortes. I want to state unequivocally that we hold ourselves to the highest standards of professionalism and integrity. I feel gratitude every day to be able to work for you and with you. I'm excited to see our businesses get back to doing what they do best. I'm also proud to see the class of 2020 graduating next week, and I'm humbled by the generosity and the kindness I see from people in Anacortes. Anacortes is an amazing community because of the people. I will continue to find ways to build understanding, address inequities, and provide hope and support for our community members and local businesses in these difficult and still uncertain times. Washington State Secretary of Health John Weisman has approved 26 counties to move into Phase 2. We were in Phase 1 from May 5th to June 4th. We will similarly remain in Phase 2 for a minimum of 3 weeks. So maybe we'll be looking at July 4th, but we'll see. The governor's office continues to take a data-driven approach towards the goal of minimizing the health impacts of COVID-19. We will continue to move through the phased reopening, county by county, phase by phase. We can mitigate the impacts of COVID-19 most effectively at the local level. Our Skagit County Health Department and resilient healthcare infrastructure are well equipped to help support our county through phases 2, 3, and 4. Many businesses are starting to reopen. Please be patient as we navigate this reopening. There has been guidance issued for construction activities, real estate, agriculture, manufacturing operations, library curbside services coming soon, drive-in theaters, professional photography services, pet grooming, as well as personal services such as hair and nail salons will begin with limited reopenings. Well, I should say they have begun with reopenings. Limited in-store retail, picking back up, and dine-in restaurants and public houses are open with limited seating. Fitness and training activities and certain outdoor activities in small groups, such as practices for professional sporting activities and practices for some outdoor youth and adult team sports. Games may resume in Phase 3. Higher education activities as well as office-based occupations will start to resume in office work. However, during Phase 2, the guidance is to continue to work remotely if possible. Religious and faith organizations can expand their capacity to offer services in person. Here at the city, the fire department has seen a reduced calls related to COVID-19 in the past week. As we move into Phase 2, we will begin to be able to the staff will be able to leave the firehouse stations to perform fire prevention inspections, public education, building familiarization, and working together as a crew to perform highly valuable physical training exercises. These training exercises are critical activities to remain proficient on firefighting and EMS skills and abilities. Being able to take the crews out to practice, train, and learn are invaluable exercises. Phase 3 is still weeks away, but the city, business owners, and employees are already preparing for it. One thing all business entities are operating in Phase 3 must do is develop a written safety plan, outline how its workplace will prevent the spread of COVID-19. This plan must be at least as protective as requirements from the State Department of Labor and Industries. The governor's office has a template online, or a business may develop its own safety plan. This plan must be available at the entity's place of business for the Washington State regulatory agencies or local health and safety authorities to review in the event of an inspection. This phase will bring in a partial reopening of our in-person services at the Anacortes Library, our museum, our police and municipal court, and here at City Hall. We're looking forward to seeing you soon. In Phase 3, we will see nearly all business activities resume and expand services for business permitted to open during Phase 2. We will also see outdoor sports activities with less than 50 people resume. Phase 4 is a full return to public life and interaction. The Anacortes City Senior Activity Center will reopen in Phase 4, and they're already working on a plan to do it safely. We will reach this phase quickly by remaining diligent in our hygiene and our social distancing. Last weekend, peaceful protests began against the murder of George Floyd and the pervasive systemic racism in our country. The city supports and protects the citizens' rights to peacefully assemble. Public places will always be open to peaceful demonstration, and the city will always support the public's First Amendment's rights. Our city leaders value All of us city leaders value the voice of the community, and several joined in the peaceful demonstration this last weekend. Myself, council members, and Chief Small believe that we can all work together to shape a brighter future for Anacortes. Anacortes is committed to maintaining our city as a welcoming, safe, and just community for everyone, and we condemn acts of racism, harassment, and intimidation. We recognize the legitimate and nationwide concern about excessive use of force, and here at the city, we focus on continuous improvement, and we're all engaging in a full review of our policies and procedures to ensure that our community is confident in the good work of our police department and all other departments at the city. We're looking forward to having open dialogue with active participation from our community so we can ensure that we are best serving our community. We're an inclusive community, and we want you to have full confidence in your city and feel assured that we're being proactive in taking this time as an opportunity to build trust in our community. The library, senior center, museum, and city hall remain closed. However, we continue to work on ways to reach you virtually and prepare for our return to in-person services. Our city employees are the cornerstone behind our essential services, and many of those services have continued uninterrupted, such as public safety, fire, EMS, water, sewer, and garbage. As we follow the plan for phased reopening and expand our city services to pre-COVID-19 levels, we are looking forward to serving you again in person, efficiently, effectively, and compassionately. Tune in tonight to learn about guitar making with one of our local business owners. Aaron of Penguin Coffee is on tonight's Together We Discover video. Story times and summer reading programs will continue throughout the summer. Don't miss Pajama Story Time tomorrow night and the last Friday story time with Miss Lisa before summer reading programs begin on Monday. Digital books, including in-demand titles, are at the top of the bestseller list in Hoopla, and that's available with no wait time. Thanks to our Library Foundation. Join an update from our librarians tomorrow online for a special digital dive episode to find out what books you can check out digitally right now to learn more about racism in America and how to find more resources on topics our community has been asking for. Now that we are in phase 2, our library is allowed to begin curbside public pickup service. The library staff is getting all the details in place to start offering this service soon. Check the library's website or Facebook page for forthcoming hours and instructions. The library's book drops are now open on Tuesday and Friday from 11 to 4. We have to collect the over 14,000 books checked out in our community as COVID-19 started. The library will control the intakes of these materials and books until we get the bulk of it back, as materials need to be quarantined before going back out. The library staff appreciates your patience during this process and looks forward to beginning to offer curbside services. I love that 14,000 books. That means almost everyone in the community had one book out if we did it that way. The Parks Department has been working diligently to organize reopening what is in line with the governor's Safe Start plan. Currently, park trails, the ACFL, the Washington Park Boat Launch and Loop Road, fishing at Heart Lake, the dog park at H Avenue are open. Athletic fields, pickleball, tennis, and basketball courts are open with restrictions on group size. The road to the Summit of Mount Airy will be open Monday through Thursdays. The Washington Park campgrounds are now open. However, the group camp is still closed. Camping is by reservation only, and our drop-in sites are closed to reduce our capacity and promote physical distancing. Our playgrounds, our picnic shelters, and facility rentals also remain closed at this time. The Parks Department is looking ahead to Phase 3 and planning how our services will change as we move through the phases. Please continue to be mindful of physical distancing as we continue to be necessary as we begin to reopen some of these activities. During Phase 2, our finance staff has been working remotely and is available to take questions during business hours. We continue to encourage everyone to sign up for autopay, which can be done on the city's utilities billing website or over the phone at 360-293-1909. The city's annual report has been submitted to the state auditor's office, and we're now in the process of preparing our 2021 and 2022 biennial budget. I will work closely with the finance director and the other department heads to create a budget that best serves this community and reflects our current economic situation. Development of the budget will begin in earnest later this summer. At that time, we will have more information on how to set our budget expectations in these economically challenging times. The city has completed its initial review of applications received for our small business stabilization grants to ensure eligibility. A committee of Anacortes business representatives will be reviewing the applications this week and will make final determination on where the funds will be awarded. Businesses will be notified in coming weeks that they have received this grant. We're proud to be able to support Anacortes businesses and help them jumpstart their businesses as we move into Phase 2 and 3. We're seeing permits continue on a steady uptick with inspections per day increasing. As Phase 2 allowed for the start of new construction, we expect to see an even more drastic increase in days ahead. We are currently working on a guide for expanded restaurants and retail space on the sidewalk and in the street when Commercial Avenue is closed on the weekends. This is intended to allow businesses more room to expand services while facilitating social distancing and ensuring that we can transition back to in-person businesses safely. The city continues to work with our downtown merchants to find ways to assist our community and our economic recovery. We have an exceptional group of students graduating this year. Our community has come together to celebrate our 168 Anacortes High School and 32 Cap Sandy High School seniors graduating this year. A community car parade will take place on June 17th from 3 to 4 p.m., where the seniors and their families will drive down 22nd Street from the high school, down Commercial Avenue, all the way to 4th Street. Virtual graduation ceremonies will be viewed on the Anacortes High School's YouTube channel, and they will be held on June 15th and June 17th for Cap Sandy and Anacortes High School grads. The Anacortes School District continues to be a stable and a uniting voice for students and families across the district. The district is delivering 4,000 meals each week to children at home. They have had safe childcare program for 25 children of essential workers, and more than 100 students currently receive virtual mental health support. And they've been dynamic in transforming our educational system by developing a virtual learning program for over 2,700 students. We have seen the administration, the teachers, Our paraeducators and support staff meet the challenge with energy and commitment. We have witnessed an outpouring of support and encouragement from teachers to parents, from parents to teachers. We're truly in this together, and our families and the Anacortes School District have embodied that. Looking ahead, our school district is awaiting guidance on what next year will look like. We will look forward to these recommendations later in June. Globally, there are nearly 7 million cases and a total deaths worldwide of over 400,000. It is difficult to grasp how many families and friends lost someone who they care about. As we navigate a way forward through phase 2, we need to continue to remain cautious and be aware that COVID-19 is still a threat. In Skagit County, there's been a total of 449 cases, 15 deaths, and 51 hospitalizations. The curve is flattening in our county and across the state. Island Hospital has tested 1,272 people and currently reports 29 positive cases. The total positive hospitalized cases is 8, and there have been no deaths in Anacortes. Island Hospital has resumed providing its non-urgent medical services and surgeries while retaining its ability to care for an increase of suspected or confirmed COVID-19 hospitalizations if necessary. Our healthcare workers have been tirelessly working since April to make sure that anyone that wants to be tested can be tested between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. We are all excited to move to phase 2, and this testing site is one of the critical systems that has allowed us to safely do so. Skagit County continues to encourage residents to follow the guidance of our public health officer, Dr. Howard Liebrand, and wear a mask in public, avoid large group gatherings, use physical distancing, stay 6 feet apart from anyone they come in contact with outside your immediate household member. Continue to telecommute, and if possible, and for those who are at higher risk, continue to stay at home as much as possible. So now we come to the questions and answers. And today I have 2 questions from the public. Number 1, where do I find out if I can reopen and guidance on how I'm supposed to reopen my business? Phase 2 allows for reopenings of some in-person retail, professional services, personal services, and restaurants up to 50% capacity. The governor's office is providing a detailed, specific industries and their associated guidance. Businesses must be able to comply with the issued guidelines on physical distancing and hygiene. For more information, a complete guidance on requirements for businesses to reopen, please visit the governor's website. Question number 2. We've been hearing a lot lately about defunding police departments around the country. If we did that here, what would it look like for our police department, and who would be the one to call when a police officer is needed? I do not believe that defunding our police department is in the best interest of the city of Anacortes. What we need to do is provide funding for an embedded social worker to work alongside our police and our park staff to assist those in need with social services, housing, food, addiction treatment, and mental health. Emotions in the United States are running high, and anytime emotions are high, I do not think good choices are made. We need to slow down and be thoughtful about the importance of public safety in all of our communities. These are unprecedented times, and we've navigated COVID-19 while we're balancing our health, protection of our health, and our economic recovery. Citizens of Anacortes have done an amazing job. And we now have entered phase 2. And we get to get a haircut. And we get to go to our favorite shop. And we get to dine in. But we must remain vigilant. We've all been fearful and we've been angry with COVID-19. In addition to that, emotions have been running high as we have all felt the sadness and the outrage over the senseless acts of violence. Last Friday and Saturday, our community had a peaceful protest and chalk art as peaceful tribute to victims of racism and inequality. These are troubling times in our nation and around the world. As a nation and a community, we are addressing long-held beliefs in systemic racism, and this is not a comfortable time. There is anger directed at police officers because members of some police departments have misused force and misused their authority, which resulted in the senseless, preventable deaths. There are ways to address use of force in police departments, but I do not believe the answer is to remove or defund police departments because of the failure of a few. The Anacortes Police Department is one of the most professional, well-run departments in the state. We have exceptional human beings in that department who take care of Anacortes, who have been there for our citizens when we're at our worst and our most vulnerable time. I will continue to support the Anacortes Police Department as we weather this incredible, disheartening time. I am working with Chief Small as we educate our City Council and the community about the trainings and the policies in place at the APD. I believe education and sharing our story is an important part of how the APD strengthens its connections to the Anacortes community. We at the city support all members of the community and are prepared to do the work required to examine our interpersonal and institutional racism, confronting systems of inequity, and ending enduring racial injustices that traumatize people. I'll be working with staff, City Council, and the community to identify training to increase our understanding of racism and what we can do to address it. Thank you all for doing your part as we navigate this pandemic and as we have honest, difficult conversations in our community. Many of us know Ray Conger, who recently passed away as the bubble man who was a ray of sunshine in Anacortes, always bringing a smile to our face. I want to end today's briefing by sharing a recipe for Ray's giant bubbles that was shared with us so that you and your family might be able to enjoy some bubbles on the next sunny day. Ray reminded us that anyone can bring joy into the world, even through something as simple as bubbles. He was well known in this community, and he will be dearly missed. Take care, and I'll be back next week.
At Seattle Goodwill, the stores may be closed, but they haven't stopped working. They provide free job training and education, as well as critical services to those in need. And they need your support now to keep that promise today and into the future. Give now at seattlegoodwill.org.
With Mount Baker beaming in the distance on Fidalgo Island in the town of Anacortes, from behind a pickup comes a man, propelling his wheelchair with one arm and one foot. It is slow and ungainly, but on he rolls. He makes his way to the corner of 21st and Commercial, and the man sits on that corner with his arms out. He waits a moment and raises them to the sky, and you wonder if he is praying. Then you see a stick, and you wonder if he's conducting some imagined orchestra. And he breaks the spell by saying something like this.
Oh, that's what I forgot. My teeth. Dang it.
Back to work he goes, and at the end of those sticks, we realize that the man is creating something beautiful, transparent, ever-changing and altering forms, and we can't take our eyes off him.
You can do a lot with it. Like, once it's out there, I could change it, you know, make a cork pigtail.
His name is Ray Conger, and he makes bubbles. He teaches them to dance and perform at the end of his sticks. He tames them temporarily, moves them and transforms their shapes, and then eventually they all pull away and vanish.
I like to pop them so they don't hit the cars. I'm definitely addicted to it. They're fascinating. There's no two are the same. And I like the rainbow effect.
Everybody knows Ray here. They look forward to his bubbles as they drive to and fro. Oftentimes, they honk their appreciation as they pass.
It made us stop and smile and take a video for our kids.
I love it. I love it. He makes bubbles. Who doesn't like bubbles?
I always like to be a smarty, and when they come by, I shrug like, you know, I don't know.
When the wind shifts, Ray moves to another corner, always chasing the perfect bubble.
These seem to make people happy,
Yes, more
but
than you realize.
at the same time, they're making you happy.
Yes, absolutely.
Ray used to be a postman in Oak Harbor, but since then his life has been one rough patch after another.
I should have got some corn syrup today. I didn't really have the means.
He was homeless for a time. Now he lives here. An accident put him in the wheelchair a few years ago. Ray struggles with things that he doesn't enjoy talking about.
I've been pretty down hard, and when the people like it and honk and show their appreciation, it keeps me upright emotionally. Come on, baby.
If you ask, he'll take the time to teach a rookie.
Okay, put your other hand. Okay. Remember, try to be careful, nice and slow and soft.
And he's a good teacher.
Beautiful.
Look at that!
Beautiful.
Look at that! Get him!
That was good.
That is
yeah.
awesome.
When the wind is right, you'll find him out there most days, a couple hours at a time, trying to get you to honk and smile. Maybe when he watches the perfect bubble float off into forever, he feels more connected to the world. Perhaps those moments allow him to forget some things too, things that cause him pain. And who knows, maybe we were right the first time we laid eyes on him. Maybe Ray Conger, the bubble man of Anacortes, is praying after all.